Hello, hello. Today we are going to be looking into the next direction for the Idaho reading, which is going to be northeast. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm going to link a video below that says something about the plan for my Idaho readings. Essentially, I'm taking all previous readings and putting them together like a puzzle to get all the different pieces of this case. These documents are available below in the Dropbox link, which is in the link tree, so that you can see what it is that I'm putting together. Again, I will link that below, and we're going to go into the northeast direction. So the first one is M and K say someone is protecting the surviving roommates. Hold on. Got my little paper holder. Okay. So Maddie and Kaylee say someone is protecting the surviving roommates. And we're adding that one into police are zeroing in on someone who is covering up for something in some way. Interesting. So how do those two connect? Five of Swords, a conflict. Police are zeroing in on someone who is covering up for something in some way. Someone is protecting the surviving roommates. Five of Swords, intimidation. I said that I didn't think the stalking was stalking, but instead was intimidation. And that's the first card we got when we were talking about that. Covering up for something in some way. Page of Cups reversed. I said that Maddie kind of had like an inkling something's wrong, but didn't realize exactly how wrong. This would be confirming. Maddie and Kaylee say someone's protecting the surviving roommates. This is Maddie saying it's whoever is covering up for something in some way is someone that Maddie and Kaylee trusted that they shouldn't have trusted. Five of Swords also makes me feel like how we're talking about someone's protecting the surviving roommates, I feel like the Five of Swords is kind of saying that the environment of the home in general was like pretty hostile. 10 of Swords. I almost feel like there's two sides of the King Road residence. Like they're like towards the end of close to when this happened, it's like the residents of 1122 King Road split in half. Like there was like one side and another side that were like an unspoken buildup of tension. The next one is there is some kind of deeper meaning behind what made this happen. Which is interesting because I just said that it wasn't stalking, it was intimidation. Eight of Swords, being trapped. I'm telling you that Maddie wanted to leave last year and she felt like she couldn't. This has been building up since last year. Because the Eight of Swords is feeling powerlessness, feeling like there's nothing you can really do, that you're trapped. Four of Pentacles, holding on to that information, not wanting to speak until the right time. Knight of Cups reversed because she didn't want an outpour of aggression, especially in terms of emotion. The Knight of Cups is also jealousy. I almost feel like someone who was close to Maddie is the reason that she was waiting till the last minute to talk. Like she was holding on to what she knew as long as possible because she didn't want it to get back to someone who was like in her inner circle that she didn't trust all the way, but trusted. Maybe not necessarily trusted, but like had to play nice with. Like a friendship that used to be a friendship wasn't a friendship any longer but both parties had to pretend like it was still a friendship. Eight of Cups, moving on. Yeah, like Maddie learned the truth about somebody that was a friend. No longer fully trusted her, but couldn't vocalize that. And that has something to do with whatever is being covered up. That has something to do with a deeper meaning behind what made this happen. The next one is the killer was with someone else accidentally while he had the knife on his person before he did this. So what I mean by that is I feel like he ran into someone, or like he encountered someone that he was not expecting to encounter while he had the knife on him, but before he committed the murders. Six of Swords and King of Cups. Six of Swords and King of Cups. Interesting. The Devil. Four of Wands. Whoever Brian's accomplice was, or at least an accomplice, someone who was helping him with this, was in direct communication with either an ex or the person who walked the girls somewhere. And an accomplice or a helper of Brian had communication with someone who had a connection to the victims that night directly. Like, this would be like if the accomplice went up and talked to an ex-boyfriend at some point throughout the night. King of Pentacles reversed was also here. This either happened at the bar or the food truck. Essentially what I'm saying is someone who knows exactly why the murders happened, how they happened, and who did it, talked to either the ex or the person who walked the girls to the food truck that night. That's what I'm seeing. Again, all of this is allegedly, my opinion, but that's what I'm seeing. So the next one is they are close to finding the right person. And this reading that I said this in was done on 12/23, and Brian was arrested 1 week later on 12/30. And then the one after that says the knife may have someone else's fingerprints on it besides just Brian's. So how do they connect? Five of Cups reversed. The Empress reversed. I really feel like that knife has Brent's fingerprints on it, or was Brent's knife. There's a connection to Brent and this knife. That's immediately what I thought when I read that. And then the Five of Cups coming up in reverse is like finally getting peace, moving on. And that's making me think Brent. And then the Empress reversed is like the link set up him to be the fall guy. I really feel like that knife has some kind of connection to Brent, and he was the intended fall guy for this, but everything went wrong. The Hierophant. Yeah, like having knowledge that you otherwise shouldn't have. I wonder... The Moon in reverse. It's like someone knew enough about Brent to use his it's like a very specific emotional trigger. like for example, like if someone said, if you don't do this, I'm gonna tell, like somebody that Brent would have deeply valued their opinion, someone knew how to hit him where it hurts. I don't know how to make sense of that. I can see it, but I can't make sense of it. Death in reverse and the Sun in reverse and Two of Swords in reverse. So about making a decision, and then this is like not wanting. I almost feel like, for example, if like somebody knew that Brent did something that maybe he wouldn't want his parents to find out about, or someone that like mattered to him, and someone was threatening to expose him that way, if he didn't go along with some kind of plan, like it has something to do with the knife. And the Sun being reversed is like, it's like being blocked, which in a previous reading, I saw Brent sitting on a chair and two people standing in front of him, kind of like talking at him and not to him. It's like somebody tried to intimidate him to go along with a plan. And at first he said, yeah, or maybe I'll think about it. And then no. And then it was like, let's just pressure him, put pressure on him, and he'll go along with it. And he didn't. That's what I'm seeing. But again, I don't think he actually did anything wrong. Like, I'm not seeing that, like, he did something and that's what was going to be exposed. It's more like, just for an example, it could be like someone in school and they dropped a class and they didn't want their parents to know. It feels heavier than that, but just for an example. Okay. Brian is waiting for the right time to play some kind of card. And Brian found a way to trap someone into helping him in some way. Oh. Eight of Pentacles reversed. So that would be about, don't focus on this yet. Focus on here. Pretend everything is going well so that everyone can not expect me to drop this bomb at the right time. Ace of Cups. That's about letting it flow. This is also the Holy Grail. Oh, no. He has something. I don't know what it is, but he has something. I'm not saying that he's not going to get convicted, but there's going to be a moment during this trial where everyone who's been watching this case is going to be like, without a doubt, like he has something. Right, for some reason, okay, Maddie wants to be the one to say this. It's the atomic bomb of information during a court case. He has something that is an equivalent to an atomic bomb that he will drop during this case. It's almost like flying over. Hold on, let me pull. I don't know if that's exactly an appropriate metaphor, Maddie. Hangman. She don't care. Okay. She would like me to use this. Okay. This is the metaphor that I'm being given. And for some reason, she wants me to say specifically by Maddie. This would be like if someone put Brian in an airplane. Again, this is a metaphor. Someone puts Brian in an airplane. Like a speedboat, but in the air, right? If someone puts him in that and flies across where there's like land, ocean, land, ocean, land, ocean, right? And if he drops the bomb at the right spot, it will hit land and everything will blow up. But if it goes in the water, it may fizzle and go away. Like that's what I'm seeing in terms of what it is that he has for information. I know that might not seem like the best metaphor given the times that we're in, but that's what she wants me to use. So, okay. Moving on. The police have some kind of hidden key that connects Brian. And there's a person who has something to prove that will end up being involved on Brian's behalf. That was before we knew anything about the lawyer. And now we know that the lawyer has a lot of conflicts of interest, potentially. So, Ace of Wands. That would be about the ignited passion in the lawyer to prove that she can win this case. The Star. Page of Swords. Some kind of hidden key that connects Brian. There's someone who has something to prove. That would be the lawyer, like the star of the show. There's some kind of communication between Brian and someone in the inner circle. It feels like it's not a surviving roommate, though. It's like a surviving roommate's best friend. Clarifier for the Page of Swords. Seven of Pentacles reversed. It's almost like somebody was like intimidated by the girls potentially taking their spot in something, but the girls weren't trying to. Like one of those situations where like, oh, that person could take my job, so I don't like that person. But like the other person's not trying to take the job. That's what I'm getting for that. During murders, one male was in control of what was going down and one was grounded in place somewhere, but also involved. And Brian's accomplice had something traumatic happen to them in their life, feels wronged by life or society. So essentially what I'm saying is when the murders were happening, there's one person committing the murders and there's one person that was involved in some way. I believe it's the driver who moved the car. That's what I'm saying. There's two energies that are involved in making this happen that were not together, two separate entities here. What can we know about the connection between these two entities? Six of Pentacles reversed, a one-sided debt, Knight of Swords, perfectionist, talking someone into something or like being a fast talker. Judgment in reverse. I almost feel like Brian believes that he was getting the other person to help him with his plan, but the other person believes that they were getting Brian to help with their plan, and no one realized until now that it was actually both ways. Almost like this person's so dumb they don't realize I'm using them for this. But both parties were thinking that, and then now they're realizing that that was the reality, that it wasn't just, this person's helping me, they don't realize. It was both ways, if that makes sense. The Knight of Swords here is making me feel like the person who is the accomplice is more seasoned than Brian. But it's not feeling like they're... So it's like Brian has more like scholarly knowledge of criminal cases, but the other person has more knowledge of like either the organization or committing crimes. Like they're not... The accomplice's knowledge is superior to Brian's, but not in terms of schooling. The other person has more knowledge of maybe firsthand experiences with crimes, or just being around a lot of other people that have firsthand experiences in crimes. Like in terms of criminal acts, Brian is more of a newcomer than the accomplice, if that makes sense. But Brian has more knowledge, like from an educational schooling standpoint, than the other person. But the other person's also intelligent. Like they went to school, just not, probably not for criminal studies. I also do feel like it's possible that Brian and the accomplice may have some kind of connection, that like they were cool and then not cool and then cool again. Yeah. Unspoken rivalry. There's a choice Bethany normally wouldn't have been okay with or made that she was convinced in some way to make. Three of Wands. Waiting for something to come. There is a choice that Bethany normally wouldn't have been okay with or made that she was convinced in some way to make. What is it? When the police were called. Waiting to call the police. Dylan is connected to someone who is connected to Brian through a drug type connection. Queen of Swords reversed. Nine of Cups reversed. Bitter, spiteful, manipulative energy. It's the link. She's connected to the link. Dylan's connected to the link and Brian is connected to the link. Nine of Cups is also in reverse greed. So a very spiteful, bitter woman who is greedy and is the connection that connects Dylan to Brian, but not directly. That would be the link. And oddly enough, the Queen of Swords, in the reading where we made the map, I feel like it was 71. Oh, 71. I don't know. Anyway, that was representing Dylan because Bethany was right under that. And Dylan, I think it was upright, but it was the Queen of Swords that was representing her. So that would make sense. And that also coming up here would confirm there that that was Dylan, because I don't think we named that pile as Dylan, but we did name the other one as Bethany, which means that that one couldn't have been Bethany. Pretty sure it's reading 071 if you want to see what I'm talking about. There is a person passing private info about the Four to an outside source, getting it to the link. 10 of Pentacles, High Priestess in reverse, and the Fool in reverse. So I said that the person that was getting information and passing it on was tired of doing it, but had to keep doing it. That would be the Fool in reverse. The High Priestess in reverse is also like going against your better instincts. Like, hey, I think maybe I'm getting a little bit too deep into this. Not really feeling as comfortable, but I can't stop, because there's that loyalty that the person feels that they have to complete this task. And I also said that I feel like it's not the surviving roommate, but a best friend of the surviving roommate. And this would clarify that very close connection, but it's through money instead of family. And it's not a direct, whoever it is that's passing on information is closer to the surviving roommates than that person was to the victims when they were still here. Something about Ethan against two people at a party. The Sigma Chi party. Seven of Swords reversed, getting caught into something. Or getting caught up in something. Page of Wands reversed. Three of Cups. Three of Cups. I said it was a female that picked the fight between the males. So that would be that. The Page of Wands reversed is Page of Wands reversed and Seven of Swords. So the Page of Wands reversed makes me feel like there either was some kind of distraction that led to somebody being able to put something in Ethan's drink, or the purpose of that was to distract from something else. I originally thought that it was to get him to go home. I mean, I guess it could be still pointing towards that, because the Page of Wands reverse is also being impatient. I almost feel like it wasn't necessarily to get him to go home or to get him to stay, but it was to get him to do something. Almost like, oh, well, he's not leaving, so we have to do something. Or it's really weird. Like, almost like somebody put something in his drink and then it's like, oh, maybe he'll fall asleep here and he'll stay and whatever. Or maybe he'll leave. Either way, it's like this happened because they wanted to see what he would do next. I guess you could say to get things like moving along. It almost feels like somebody had eyes on the girls, and whatever was going on with Ethan was going on in timing with whatever was happening with the girls. Like, let's say the girls were looking like they were getting ready to leave soon. Then it was like, okay, we got to get him to do something, so let's do this. It almost feels like whatever happened with Ethan was an afterthought and not part of the previous plan. Like at Sigma Chi, I don't think that whatever went down there was part of the original plan, but was planned like that day, like earlier in the day, or maybe even into the night. It feels like an afterthought. Queen of Wands and Ten of Cups reversed. Was Ethan was he supposed to be somewhere else this weekend? I know that Kaylee wasn't supposed to be there, and then she ended up being there. I'd be curious to know if Ethan was planning on going home and then didn't. It's It's really weird because now I'm questioning if whatever was potentially put in his drink was like a little bit out of spite. Like, oh, you're messing up the plans by even being here. If that's the case, it definitely had a double meaning to get him out of the way as well. But I'd be curious to know if anybody knows that maybe Ethan had plans originally to go home and ended up staying there. Because whatever went down at Sigma Chi feels like an, I guess not an afterthought, but like a late addition to the plan. Like it wasn't initially like, oh, let me do this to these victims and I'm going to go take care of this as well. It seems like that happened for an unexpected addition to the plan. Because of some kind of gossip or talk. I feel like it's... I'd be curious to know if Ethan had mentioned to anyone the possibility of going home that weekend, or that he was going home that weekend, or that he was going somewhere with Xana maybe. No, that's not, it's not the last one. All right, all right, let's go down to the next one. Any help the killer had did not come from his own... Any help the killer had did not come from his own connection or friends. It came through the link and mentor. Six of Wands reverse, being in the public, and Temperance reverse, a lack of balance. Yeah, it's like Temperance in reverse and Six of Wands would be like putting yourself out there in a reckless way. So when saying any help that he had did not come from his own connections or friends, this would paint the picture of that, like being reckless and just throwing it out there like, hey, by the way, I've always wanted to do this. Obviously not in that manner, but like the pieces falling into place in like a weird way. I almost feel like this began because of a, like, not a joke, but like when someone throws something out there to see how the other person will react. It seems like that, and then it spiraled into this actual legitimate plan to do this. It will come to a point in trial where Anne needs to choose between ethics and walking away or resigning. Four of Cups reversed, a new outlook. It's also about acceptance. Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, it's going to come to a point unexpectedly. Oh, unexpectedly, because it's already been dealt with. So they had this, I guess like a meeting or a session or something. I don't know how it was decided, but essentially people met together and decided that there was no conflict of interest. So that's what the wheel would be representing. It's like that issue is unexpectedly revisited. Like, oh, I thought we got this ethics issue out of the way, but it's coming back because of something new that has been brought up. So the ethical issue has been taken care of right now based off of what information we have right now, but there will come new information that will make the issue of ethics have to be revisited. That's what I'm saying. People knew something bad was going to happen. The Eight of Wands, fast communication. Seven of Cups reversed. And Five of Wands reversed. Five of Wands reversed is like people knew it was coming and nobody wanted to say anything because they didn't want to be the one that ended up being on the wrong side of what was happening. Seven of Cups reversed is like seeing things for what they are. Oh my gosh. Eight of Wands is immediate action. Seven of Cups, seeing things clearly. Five of Wands reverse is like an agreement. King of Swords reversed. Oh, I think I just figured it out. There was already a plan in motion to teach them a lesson because of Caleb. Hold on. Okay, so there was talk going around, things were happening, someone was spying, passing on information, there was already eyes out, there was already intimidation in place. Kaylee, not expected to be there. Ethan had mentioned to someone that he was leaving that weekend. I don't know who, but I know he did, and it got back to someone. There was a plan in place that night for someone to go in and scare them or teach them a lesson so that they didn't talk upon leaving. Well, let me write this down. All right, I didn't want to forget to say that when I'm done. Oh no, now I forgot the rest of it. There was a plan. There was a plan to go in, teach them a lesson so that they didn't talk when they were leaving. But Kaylee comes back. Maddie talks. And that plan goes from teaching them a lesson to more. People surrounding this knew that there was a lesson coming. But those that did not know that Maddie had said something did not know that it went from a lesson to something much worse. That makes everything else fit in. Ethan, someone thinks he's leaving, but he doesn't leave. Yeah, wow, what was the line that I read? People knew something bad was going to happen before it happened that night. I don't think that anyone, well, I think that some people knew, but I don't think the people that I'm referring to there, I don't think they knew it was going to be a murder, but I think that there was word going around that since Kaylee was back, they were going to be shown some kind of lesson so that they did not talk when leaving. Then Maddie talked. That's how everything was already going in place, like for plan-wise. Things were already in motion, but it accelerated once Maddie asked Adam to set up a meeting between her and someone else so they could talk. Allegedly, my opinion. That's what I'm getting. Brian and Dylan are connected through the same organization. This crime is connected to information. Queen of Pentacles reverse, which has represented the link. Brian and Dylan are connected through the same organization. This crime is connected to information. The link. Okay. That's it for Northeast. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do the next one today. 133. Probably not right now. I want to pull one of these from each of the four, and then I'm going to pull a tarot to clarify whatever we get here. So let's start with Ethan. One card from Ethan. Two cards from Ethan. Nightlife. Gamble. Take a risk. Vegas. and sad with an I. This card is not even from this deck. This deck is all the way over there on my rolly thing. This is Ethan saying that was right. What came out a little bit ago about that being an afterthought, a gamble, a risk. I'm seeing like walking through Vegas and just like throw money here, throw money there, like not part of the plan. And then the I would be like seeing it clearly. The Hermit in reverse. Yeah, isolation. He wasn't supposed to be there. Like gone somewhere else, not in the location. I feel like Ethan said to someone he was going home for the weekend or something like that and didn't end up doing it. But that information was already pieced into the plan. But then the plan changed so much that it didn't matter. And he had to be like either not feeling well, stuck at the party, something, anything else but fully capable to fight whoever was coming into the house. Anything else but that. Xana. In reverse, synchronicities, signs. The Tower. Signs, and there's a street sign, but it's in reverse. So yeah, I don't think that Ethan was supposed to be there. But it's almost like nobody, it's not something that he announced to like a bunch of people. Like, I almost feel like was he gonna surprise his family or something? Like, I don't know, it's weird. It's almost like a surprise that he was like, oh, never mind, I'm just gonna wait till next time or something, and ended up not doing it. Six of Cups reversed. I would say that there is a possibility that someone who was under the understanding that the house of King Road was going to get taught a lesson or roughed up, I think it's possible that someone may have told Ethan not to go home without saying, hey, I think someone's going to go in and rough up your girlfriend, but more like, hey, don't go, because the other person knew that something bad was going to happen, but not a murder, but wanted Ethan there to protect Xana. I for some reason, I'm feeling like that's a really strong possibility. So Ethan says to someone, oh, I'm going to go home for a couple days or something like that. The other person that he says this to is aware that that house this weekend is going to have someone go in and rough up the residents so they don't talk. So that person, out of not necessarily maliciousness, but like talks him into staying somehow, but not directly, but thinking that they were doing that so that he'd be there to protect Xana, and then everything else goes wrong. But it's like the person, a delay, Knight of Wands reversed. All right, the next one is, oh, that's the last one. Oh, never mind, we're doing this. All right, I'm gonna come back to that later because I feel like I'm being shown what happened and with who in that situation, but I don't want to say it yet. I want to make sure I'm right first. I didn't say a name, so I'm gonna put these back. Let's go with Maddie next. Legal in reverse. Court, paperwork, and filed. Legal in reverse. Court. Three of Pentacles. This is like making me think of like everyone being in a bubble and then people working together, but like working towards the same cause without realizing that they're working together because this is in reverse. Almost like someone helped out in the murders unfolding without realizing that they were doing that because they were trying to do something good. It's really weird. Two of Wands, a difficult decision. Should I stay or should I go? And Kaylee. Come together. Reconciliation, spiritual union, and soul contract. Four of Swords. Come together would be Ethan and Xana, and then Four of Swords would be protection. I feel like they all just tried to confirm what I said. Maybe that helps other things make sense if we look at it that way. Whoever put something in Ethan's drink was not doing it to harm him necessarily, but maybe getting him to go be able to protect Xana from what they knew was coming. Not realizing that what was coming was actually way worse than what was being planned. I'm just going to pull one of these from all four of them, and then we're going to wrap up this part for now. From the four, what can we know? It's in reverse. Accountability. Responsibility is a gift of love to yourself and others. And it's someone carrying a whole bag of rocks with the street sign that was on here. Wait, 3, 6, 9, 18, 19, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, and 3, 3, 3. So there's 4 ones, 2, 2. There's 4 ones, 2. Come on, brain. There's 4 ones, 3 2s, and 3 3s. So it's not even all the same number. It just happens to be that. If you add them all up, you get 19. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. The number of this card is 19. accountability. Someone is carrying around a very heavy burden of knowing exactly how this unfolded because they unknowingly played a part in it coming together. And that person, since this card was in reverse, has not come forward with the information that they have that would help prevent Brian's atomic bomb of information from being able to dismantle the case. So it's not that Brian will be found not guilty or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that someone has information that if they come forward with that information, it will make it so that whatever it is that Brian has in terms of an atomic bomb of information, it won't matter because of the information that someone else has. However, they're not coming forward with it. That's what I'm getting. I'm going to do one more thing just because a lot of people have been asking how they're doing, like how the four are doing, if they've made any progress. So before I was essentially seeing Xana furthest along in terms of crossing over. You can imagine that she's like standing there holding a door open, right? Like she's on the side of the light, but still holding open this door. Ethan is right there where he can see her still, but can also see the girls because the girls are a little bit behind in terms of crossing. I think it has a lot to do with wanting to stay by their families. And now I think I understand why, because Kaylee's sister just had a baby. I almost feel like they were holding this baby before the baby was born, like waiting for the baby to pat. Maybe that's why they kind of were not wanting to leave yet, making sure that that transition for the family happened. Okay, so anyway, let's see where they're at now. Let's give us one card from Xana in reference to what I just explained. So Xana at the door, on the side of the light, but holding the door open for the rest of them. What can we know about the progress made? Seven of Wands reversed. She's exhausted. Tired of holding the door open. It's almost like Xana wants to just let go and finish crossing, but she won't, because she wants to wait for her friends, and her friends want to wait for justice. That's not to say that Xana doesn't want justice, because she equally does. I think it's just a matter of soul age and her level of acceptance being a little bit higher. The Seven of Wands reverse is also like a feeling of surrender, but in a different way than like the Hanged Man. It's almost like before Xana had a sense of urgency, like, come on guys, come on, just let it go, let's go into the light. And now she's like, okay, I don't want to have to wait, but I'm going to wait, and I'm just going to accept my decision of waiting and not feel rushed. Like she's in a state of just like, she's not where she wants to be yet, but she's okay with staying where she's at for a period of time because she wants to wait for her friends. Ethan. The Lovers in reverse. And the Emperor in reverse. So he is not in the same state of acceptance as Xana. It seems like Ethan is more right where he was previously, which isn't necessarily bad. I honestly feel like Ethan is waiting just for the case to unfold. Like, he's learning how to let go of, like, how do I put this? Xana is trying to teach Ethan how to love himself through this in a way that allows him to loosen control. Almost like Ethan has like a backpack of information and he's like, I need to get this information to this person and this person so the puzzle can make sense, right? And Xana is like, hey, you just need to like take a puzzle piece, let it float, and it'll get to where it needs to go. You don't need to be so worried about it. Like it's going to go to where it needs to go. Like that kind of loosening of control. But the process of that is helping Ethan get back into that mindset of self-love. Which I feel like has something to do with him feeling like I should have been able to protect Xana. I almost honestly feel like there's a little bit of maybe Ethan could have said something like, oh, if I wasn't as messed up, then I could have been able to change this. But with this information coming out, I feel like it's going to help him to move forward from that, because he's realizing, well, he knows, but like he's seeing us realize that it wasn't just his, it wasn't just him being overly intoxicated that prevented him from being able to change this situation, because someone else played a role in that. And oh, the backpack of information, that, and oh, it's like he wanted people to know. You want people to know that, I guess. Ace of Swords. Yup. Yeah, he knew, but he wanted us to know that, like, he feels as though he didn't get a chance to fight back at this as he otherwise could have if other people didn't knowing and unknowingly play a hand in it. Let's go with Maddie next. Nine of Pentacles. That's good. I feel like she is oh, so the Nine of Pentacles is like getting a reward for your effort. I almost feel like it's because of the baby being born that card came out. Like they poured all this. Oh. Okay, so Maddie and Kaylee poured all the love into the baby. Crap, what's the baby's name? Theodora? I believe Theodora Maddie K. I think that name is very okay, I think that name is very on point, because it's almost like Maddie and Kaylee were like holding the baby like a little teddy bear on the other side before giving the baby to her sister. Well, not giving, but like, you know. I feel like it's almost like the timing of the baby's birth is so perfect for this, because the girls were able to hold the baby and pour all of their love into the baby, so that when the baby came with their love. And I think that that's very symbolic because of the name combining both of them together. That's what I'm seeing. So essentially, the Nine of Pentacles, oh, it has like a little bird on the card too. So the Nine of Pentacles is saying to me that Maddie and Kaylee had this baby in their care, poured all of their love into this baby so that the baby could come and pour out that love into the family. And now that that has happened, it's helping Maddie and Kaylee move a little bit further forward, because they know that their families are getting that love. Not to replace their love, but like to help fill in that void that was left. And Kaylee. The World in reverse and the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Is it Kaylee's sister that had the baby or Maddie? It's Kaylee's sister. It's almost like Kaylee isn't ready to move forward yet. Like Maddie's like, okay, we poured love into the baby's there, I can start moving forward. But Kaylee's like, I want to wait a little longer just to make sure, kind of thing. Or there's just a very big attachment from Kaylee to the baby, and she doesn't want to leave the baby quite yet. But I'm not necessarily taking this as like a negative thing. Hold on. Door. Oh, Kaylee, Maddie. Okay. Okay. So in the circle is where I feel like they were the first time that I talked about this. So there's a door here. Xana's there holding the door, right? I think she's still in that same spot. Then we have Ethan, who was here. I don't think he's moved that far forward, but like a step forward, right? And then we have Maddie and Kaylee that were here together in the same spot. I feel like Kaylee's still in that exact same spot, but Maddie has moved a little bit forward. I think that that is beneficial because that will pull Kaylee forward as soon as she's ready to. So I don't see this as a negative thing. I just see it as part of the progress, right? They do everything together, but that doesn't mean that every step they take needs to be in sync. So I think that Maddie moved a little bit forward, but Kaylee's still hanging on for a little bit longer. But not in a negative way, just in like a, I want to witness this with my own eyes unfolding type of way with the baby and the family and all of that. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. I'm gonna wrap it up with 4 of these. Let's start with Ethan again. Shift your focus. Shift your focus. Shift your focus. Strength. Yeah, that's funny. How do I explain this? Shift your focus. Okay, so I said it's funny because how I said the other day from the video about Justin, how at the end of that video I addressed how Ethan and Xana were essentially coming through saying that Xana was not Ethan's like cover for anything. I feel like it's the same energy here with these cards where Ethan's saying, don't look at it as like I was too intoxicated to fight back or something. Like it was part of the plan. I don't know. I feel like just for some reason he wants that to come through. Like if he was just regularly, like if it was just a night out and he just went home and things unfolded that way, he feels like he would have been able to fight back efficiently. So something else on top of that happened. That's what I'm getting. Xana. There's no reason to fear. And it's only darkest before the dawn. How I just drew the picture of her standing by the door. So she's saying to them, there's no reason to fear. You're a little bit further away from the light, but keep coming. Oh, is this them talking to each other? Maddie. Find joy in the journey. I just said that she's the only one that really journeyed forward and moved a lot right now. Find joy in the journey. self-explanatory. And Kaylee. Tomorrow will be better. Feel your emotions. So I said that I feel like she's still there, but not in a negative way, because she wants to experience with her own eyes what's going on. I said that it's not necessarily a bad thing that she hasn't moved yet. It's just that she wants to be as present here as she can. Tomorrow will be better. It's saying as soon as she's ready, she'll move forward. It's not that she's not ready to move forward. It's just that she's not ready to stop witnessing everything happening with her family right now. And then feel your emotions. I do feel as though she wants to be as energetically close to her family as possible, because she's feeling what they're feeling, because there is that close connection and that close bond. We're going to end on a good note. I will be back next time with Northwest, which is a little bit longer than the one that we just did today. That one will be next.